Do you ever feel like your study habits simply aren't cutting it? Do you wonder what you could be doing to perform better in class and on exams? As a student, you may want to improve your study habits and save time. But where do you start? Here are some top homework tips and advice on how to study smarter from students who understand the challenge. If you've ever found yourself thinking, I don't know how to study, or just simply need some study tips, don't miss out on these pieces of advice. So here's the 7 tips on how to study smarter, not harder. The first on the list is active studying. One of the biggest benefits of active learning is it keeps the student engaged. They interact with the topic by working on activities that help reinforce knowledge, concept, and skills. Through memorable learning experiences, students move from short-term retention and achieve deeper levels of understanding. If you only copy or read through your notes, you won't learn anything. Study after study has shown that the best way to help the brain remember is to actively engage with the information. It's practical to have an overview, but to learn properly, you need to study actively. I will show you some practices that can help you to study actively. 1. Create your own exam. Creating a quiz for yourself will help you to think like your professor. Like, what does your professor want you to know? Quizzing yourself is a highly effective study technique. Make a study guide and carry it with you so you can review the questions and answers periodically throughout the day and across several days. 2. Be the teacher and explain it to someone else. It turns out the benefits to learning by teaching are not limited to comprehension. The strategy also helps students develop essential social-emotional learning skills. Learning by teaching can help improve students' communication skills, increase confidence, and improve leadership ability. 3. Create mind maps or concept maps. This practice encourages the brain to make associations between different keywords, phrases, and images. They can be used by students to brainstorm ideas for creative projects, either alone or within a group, as well as help them to plan and structure work such as essays, reports, and presentations. Next, work on tasks and explain every step of the way. Organization and planning will help you to actively study for your courses. When studying for a test, organize your materials first and then begin your active reviewing by topic. The last practice for active studying is read the material and ask yourself what you remember. Memory is essential to all learning because it lets you store and retrieve the information that you learn. Asking also yourself what you remember can help you to understand more the topic that you're studying. Now let's proceed to the second tip, which is the study cycle. The study cycle is a 5-step approach to learning designed to help students become more efficient learners. It works the way your brain learns best. It reinforces new content and builds confidence. The study cycle can be easily adapted to any coursework. The 5 steps of the study cycle are previewing, attending class, reviewing, studying, and of course, checking your understanding. Previewing. Preview your text and other study materials before class to develop a big picture of what you'll be covering. Skim through the chapter, noting all headings, subheadings, bold words, graphs, pictures, and summaries. Once you've developed a big picture, it will be much easier to remember and learn the details. Attending class should be an obvious step, but some students don't take it seriously enough. Missing even a few classes can be detrimental to your studies and the learning process, especially in subjects such as math. Combined with previewing, attending class will allow you to get more from lectures and take better, more concise notes. Reviewing. Preferably right after class, but at least sometime during the day, take about 10 minutes to review your class notes. This process of review transfers the information you learn during class from your short-term to your long-term memory. It also reinforces new concepts and increases confidence. Next is studying. To reinforce the new material you learned during class and to make sure you truly understand the subject matter being taught, take about 30 to 50 minutes to review your notes. Read your textbook, work problems, make concept maps, or form a study group. As you study, ask yourself how, why, and what if questions. Don't forget, repetition is the key. Reflect and evaluate your mastery and understanding of the material you learned and studied. Ask yourself, is the information I'm studying making sense? Am I confident with the new material? Do I understand the material well enough that I can teach it to someone else? Assessing your studying from the time is an essential aspect of learning. The third tip for studying smarter not harder is about background noise. Here you have to find out what works best for you. Some students like complete silence and others need light background noise or music to help them concentrate. Use what works best for you so you can concentrate better and longer. Background noise should not be too loud or include lyrics. If you want to listen to music, listen to lo-fi, classical music, movie music, or anything else you can find. The next tip is stop multitasking. Multitasking is not only ineffective, but it can even negatively affect your learning. By constantly switching back and forth between tasks or subjects, your mind can concentrate properly and you might also mix up or even forget content. If you watch Netflix or movies while studying, you'll be even more distracted because your mind definitely finds Netflix the most interesting, even if you might not want to admit it. And so you never concentrate on studying, but always on something else, so stop it. The next tip is always do something. Even if you don't have any tasks for a day or a week and you feel that you don't have to learn anything, do it anyway. For topics that were easy for you, you just have to go through them again. And if you still have time, you can repeat old topics or look at new topics for the next days and weeks and start learning, so that you always use your time. Second to the last tip is plan everything. Plan your schedule for the next days on the same day of the week. Write down what you want to accomplish for each school subject in this week. Plan how long you have to study during the week. Write down when assignments have to be done and handed in. And write every evening to-do list for the next day. And last but not the least tip I can advise to you is try to do the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique is a time management system that encourages people to work with the time they have rather than against it. To study well during your study time, you should use the Pomodoro technique. Study in 25 to 45 minutes intervals and take breaks afterwards. If you are in a study flow, you can skip the breaks, but after the flow, you should still take a good break so you can recover. Again, these are the studying tips to help you find the answer on how do I study smarter, not harder. Studying smarter, not harder means that you don't have to slave over your work for it to be good. Try turning them into practice one by one and observe how it helps you to study better. Keep in mind that the key to success is consistency. And that's all for the video. Thank you for listening and I hope you gain some knowledge.